What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Combat Corporation, your source for combat sports. I'm your host, Al the Postmaster Morrow, and today I have another installment to our basic series. Today we're going to be going over shadow boxing. Now, shadow boxing for me is my favorite exercise to do in any type of sport, because if you think of any type of combat sport, whether it be kickboxing, MMA, Muay Thai, regular boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, whatever it might be, shadow play is such an important factor because it is, in my opinion, the closest thing you can get to actually competing against somebody without sparring, right? And the idea behind that is you are all alone. It's a very good fundamental practice because you're learning everything that you just did and you're putting it into motion by yourself. You're not making contact with a bag. You're not making contact with mitts. Your coach is not constantly yelling at you. He might tell you something once or twice, and that's going to be it, right? Just like in a bout. You're going to go in, your coach is going to say, every now and again you might hear something like jab, move your head, stuff like that, and you're not going to get that all the time. So shadow boxing is a very personal thing, and it's something that you will get good at in time, okay? It is something that's discouraging for beginners because a lot of the times, it's your first day, your coach looks at you and says, all right, everyone, start shadow boxing, and you don't know what to do. So here's a couple tips that I'm going to tell you about shadow boxing that will hopefully help you out, and maybe I'll show you a couple things that I personally do that might guide you a little bit better into shadow boxing. The other thing I want to say about shadow boxing is I don't use it as just a warm-up, right? The reason why is because it's a fundamental thing. You have to practice what's going on, and if you don't practice it, if you can't hit the air right, you're not going to be able to hit a target right, is the idea. This is the point in time where you get every single piece of technique down that you can keep, okay? So, with that said, I don't really care, especially when I look at what beginners do. I don't care how good you look on a bag, the mitts. I can tell you right now, if your shadow boxing sucks, you're probably going to suck in sparring or in your next bout, unless you have just one big shot. But that's everyone's puncher's chance. Let's go into step number one, and that is please learn your fundamentals before you start to shadow box extensively, right? Sit down with your coach and say, hey, I don't really understand my stance. I don't understand, what's going on as far as, punches go. I don't understand how to throw a jab yet, So that's my number one thing is going back to stance, right? If you're left-handed, right-handed, whatever it might be, your non-dominant hand and foot are in front. My knees are bent like this. My elbows are in front. This helps me with defense and offense because my arms are in front. And just think about this sometimes, right? Just right here. The other thing that you want to do is in the stance, you want to be able to bend sometimes, move back and forth. I can move my head side to side. I can turn off a little bit, whatever it might be. I worry about my stance before I worry about a lot of other things too. So learn your basics, Don't just go in and see an expert guy, do something like, and then move out, head, and then I see a beginner go like, dropping and stuff like that. I see it every single day. Something goofy, something silly, right? And it's just because they don't know what they're doing. So learn the basics before you actually start to attempt the shadow boxing, right? Look up a YouTube video, like I have a couple videos on stance and I have a couple videos on punches, or watch professional boxers shadow box and take the basic things that they do away from it, right? And of course, the number one thing, ask your coach or an experienced teammate that is free at that moment in time, and they will be happy to help you. The second thing that I like to say is critique yourself. Don't be so, I'm just shadow boxing, I'm not doing anything with it, right? I'm just kind of loosening myself up, which once again, I don't treat this as a warm-up. I treat it as like a 6 to 8 round exercise. I'm drilling, right? Critique yourself. It might be as simple as your stance, right? My stance, I'll do an incorrect stance just to show you what I mean, but if I'm here, right, I'll just do this. My knees are up straight, my left hand is low, but my right hand is high, and my elbow is out like this, right? So if it were me and I'm a beginner, it's like, okay, this is for some reason my stance, but coach just told me to keep a little bit more of a shoulder width with my hips and my legs, and to bend my knees. Okay, so let's start over again. I bend my knees, right? My hands gotta be in front like this. I'm here. Okay, he showed me a jab, and I know it's not like this. I don't stick my arm out that way. I stick it in front like this. Or, I want to do a touch, turn, turn. Okay, now I got that, but I dropped my left hand when I did the turn, so I got touch, turn, turn, stuff like that. That's exactly what you have to do when you start out shadowboxing. Critique yourself. You're your own worst critic here, right? That's the idea behind this exercise, is for you to think that was right, that was wrong, this is what must be done, right? That's how you're gonna get better, because if you're not honest with yourself, how can you advance if something's wrong and you just keep telling yourself, that was right, that was right, that was right? You'll never see progress. It's just not gonna happen. Now, my third step is do what you've been drilling, right? If that day you learned a combination that's as simple as I touch you, I hit you, right? I jab the chest, touch the uppercut to the chin, I hit the jaw. So 3 punches on one side, right? So drill that, right? Say I touch the chest, so I bend a little bit, boom, okay? There's the first shot. Maybe I move around my head a little bit, I drop, bang, I turn it over, shielding myself, boom. I just drilled that today. Or I just drilled a 4-punch combination. I did jab, slip, hook, straight. I count the slip as a punch, or a 4-motion combination. Bang, bang, boom, boom, right? I do that and I drill it, but notice how my knees came up. Going back to step number 2, I got to critique myself, right? So I'm here, I'm standing a little bit too square, so I'm here, boom, bang, I turn over, hook, straight, right there, okay? And I do what I was drilling that day. Don't let it escape you that day. If you're drilling a specific thing with your coach and your coach says, I want you to drill this, shadowboxing is the best time to do it. Do it until you cannot get it wrong anymore. Which leads me to number 4. Be as realistic as you can when it comes to shadowboxing. Don't go out and sit there and be like, oh man, I got my straight punches down, here we go. No, your opponent's never gonna let you sit there and just hit you 10, 12 times in a row. At that point, I've stepped behind you, pulled your pants down and threw you to the side, right? That's the idea about it. When I'm shadowboxing, I'm trying to be realistic. So my hands are up like this, right? Say, I know I got a jab, boom. Say I got to move, boom, all right? I got here. I move my head side to side every now and again, make sure I'm here. I throw 1, 2, 3, 4. I step, stuff like that. Or I throw 1, 2, boom, bang, bang, I drop, stuff like that, right? You're doing that because you're mixing your offense, your defense into both categories at the same time. And that's exactly what you want to do as far as this all goes. You want to mix everything together like you would when you box. Because once again, your coach isn't in your ear all the time. You got to know what to do by yourself. Someone can't hold your hand all the time. No one's going to be holding mitts in the ring saying, all right, cool, hit me with a 1, 2. No, no, no. It doesn't work that way, right? So be realistic. Jab, jab. I drop, I move around a bit, right? Boom, boom. I'm going to shift my weight as I hit. I'm moving, stuff like that. I'm keeping everything so realistic. Here comes a punch. Here comes a punch. A lot of people will say, imagine someone's actually boxing you. You're boxing your shadow, you're throwing punches back, right? I slip the right hand, I throw the hook over to the shoulder, right? I slip, I step, body, body, my forearms here blocking that side, body, body, I step to his back. He's got to turn, bang, bang. Punches like those, right? Motions like those. Think about what you're going to do. Keep it realistic and go back to what you were drilling, like step 3, right? And ultimately, step 5 is to have a goal when you shadow box. I see people all the time be like, oh, here we go, shadow boxing again. You know, I'm just doing this because I have to and stuff. No, 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 no. Have a goal when you shadow box. Do I want to focus more on what I was drilling today? You know, like you should, or do I want to, you know, my coach told me to work what I want here, or I'm experienced enough to where I don't have to necessarily drill the same thing a million times to get it cemented for the rest of my life. Maybe I want to work some power shots, right? You know, I want to do like a couple soft shots, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then move, you know, stuff like this, stuff like that, right? Or, you know, 1, 2, 3, bang, bang, stuff like that. Power shots involved with it. Or maybe I want more speed, so now I'm here, I move. I want more head movement, right? Have a goal. Today in shadow boxing, I want to use my speed and head movement and footwork more than I do, you know, power and ferocity or something. Or maybe I want to work on my explosiveness instead of, you know, whatever it might be. Or I tend to stand too still when I shadow box, so today I got to move a little bit more, right? Stuff like that. Have a goal when you go into shadow boxing. At the end of the day, folks, shadow boxing, once again, is probably the most fundamental exercise you can do that will actually advance you in the sport. And this goes for wrestling too. You know, if you shadow wrestle and you're here, you know, touch the mat every now and again. I'm here, I maybe sprawl, or maybe I shoot every now and again. Jiu-jitsu, you see people to drop and they'll do triangle exercises. And it's the same exact thing with every single sport. Muay Thai, you know, drill a knee, you know, clinch. I work the clinch, I throw them that way. All right, everything like that. It's the same exact idea with every single combat sport. Do the motion, do it right, drill it, learn it, and I promise you, if you shadow box, you'll actually notice a difference when it comes to your sparring, your bouts, or anything. Shadow box at least 6 to 8 rounds a day. And the cool part is, you don't need to be in a gym to do it, right? You can do it wherever it is you want. I did it in my house this morning for like 2 rounds, just looking in my mirror. If you have a mirror, just stand right there. Be like, okay, I can see myself perfect. Now I can really critique myself. I jab, I slip, right? You know, 1, 2, drop, stuff like that. You know, those are the cool things that you can do by yourself. Create ideas in your head, and then your coach will critique those ideas as well. So, folks, I hope that helped you. I hope you understand now why it's so important, and I hope, once again, any beginners out there that are watching this, I answered a couple of your questions. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and I'd be happy to get back to you as soon as I can in the comment section below, of course. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you on the next episode.